Hello there, Dental Nachos. Terry here, and we're talking tech tips with Terry Tuesday at 2. It is now 2 o'clock on the Eastern Standard Time Zone. Actually, Eastern Daylight Time is what we're on right now. And we're going to be talking about an important topic today, very important, of frustration. And technology often can be very frustrating. Anyone that's worked with it knows what we're talking about with that. And so here at Dental Nachos, we want to help you to be able to get around that. As a matter of fact, not only can you use this for technology, but these tips that I'm going to show you will work when you're in real life, in whatever situation it is. There's 7 steps that I have found helpful, and many successful people have found this is what really works and gives people the ability to get ahead. Because let's face it, in our world today, hey, that technology and that frustration is real. It's regular, and we're seeing it. But if you use these tips that we're going to show you in the next few minutes, you're going to find you'll be able to get a lot more done in many different ways. 7 steps to conquer frustration, to conquer that frustration that comes from technology and in many other areas too. And by the way, if you're joining us, we'd love to hear from you. If you want to leave a comment or just say hello and let us know where you are, it'd be great to hear how you're doing, what's going on, and any comments that you might have. We're using a tool now called Restream, which is sending it out to the signal, that is. It's sending the signal out to Facebook groups. It's also sending it to LinkedIn, over to Twitter, feed they have there, over to YouTube, and all at the same time, which is really nice. That way of doing it with Restream gives you that ability, and I really like the way they're doing it and working with that. And also, one of the things I like to do is just share with you the technology I'm using here, how I'm doing this, and what I'm doing. So if you've got some questions or you want to drop those in there, by all means do that. And if you're catching this on the recording, if I'm saying this to future people that will be listening to this and watching it, leave a message there as well. We try to monitor these closely at least the next 24 to 48 hours after it's over, so that you can see what to do. Dr. Paul Goodman is our leader here. We affectionately call him Dr. Nachos, and he talks about ways that you can learn and grow. He does a lot with this also, showing dentists how to specifically get over the fear and the frustration that sometimes comes in dentistry. As a dentisting human, you know about that. But we're going to talk about those 7 steps and get into them and let you see what's going on here today. So the first one, recognize new as our reality today. And I'm going to get over here because it looks like, hey, that technology is getting in the way of me too. But yes, it is a surprise. What are we going to do there? And it's like that. Sometimes that new hits us and we go, oh my goodness, what am I going to do here? How do I deal with it? But I think if we recognize that new is just a part of our life, it's something we have. We're not going to be going, oh no, I want to go back to the way it was. Our brains like to think that way. We like to think, okay, I want to go back to this idealized time somewhere in the past where everything was much better. Psychologists and therapists who work in this and know a whole lot more about that than I do. I'm certainly not trained in that, but I respect what they have to say when they tell us that we're often longing for a bygone era that we envision and imagine was perfect. We forget the reality was that that time had its problems too. But you see, if you've got a real strong hold on learning how to embrace new, that you take an attitude of, okay, I can learn this one too. This is a brand new thing. Then you do much better all the way around. Number 2, focus. Focus on your objective, what it is that you're doing. And you want to say, okay, I'm going to really tightly focus on learning something in school. You probably have seen that many times, that you had a subject that was a little bit tougher, a little bit hard to see what it is and how it works. Well, by focusing, laser beam focus, you're going to be able to accomplish that and get beyond the frustration. Be able to say, okay, I'm going to really plow into this. I find that when I do that and I say, okay, I'm going to close off everything else and just do this, I tend to do a lot better, particularly on one of those things that takes a lot of intense learning and concentration. I found I had to do that, really had to hone that skill when I was in the MBA program, and we had this thing called accounting. My undergrad was radio, TV, newspaper. We didn't even know how to spell accounting, okay? And then yet, wham, I'm hit with it, and I got to learn it because you know what? It is important. It really is. And I had to learn it, wrap my brain around it, and I stumbled and fell a couple of times, but kept getting back up and then getting the right instruction, and that helped. So focus is really important on that. That's going to be a key. Number 3, chunk it down. When you need to learn something, psychologists who really understand the human brain, how it works and how we do best, realize it's kind of like cooking. If you're going to cook some food, you don't try to eat the whole pepper, like they got that in the little video here, that pepper all at once. No, you don't do that all at once. Not usually. What you want to do is you want to break it down into chunks. Break down what you're learning into chunks that make sense and logical. Then you get them one at a time. And those chunks then start making sense where you go, oh, okay, this is how we do this one. And if this component works, then that, and that builds on top of this. I find that by doing that, we're able to get a lot more done. And by chunking it down, learning in pieces, which actually helps us to get things done much, much faster. So that's number 3. Number 4 is learn aggressively. And I'm putting that word aggressively in there. Use the University of YouTube. We're euphemistically saying that. But YouTube, I'm really impressed with what is out there. Actually, in a way, it's sometimes a little bit frustrating with YouTube because there's so much good. So it's not really a complaint. They're doing a great job with that. And yeah, I understand they're human beings. They make mistakes, and there's some things they do that we go, we wish they wouldn't do that. But they provide enormous amounts of opportunity. And it's not just saying, here's a video on a particular topic. Here's a whole bunch of videos, sometimes with different points of view. I like that on a topic. You might see a topic here or there. I like to look at many different angles on it. And by using the University of YouTube, and notice we do put those in quotes, University of YouTube, you're able to start learning more about, okay, what is in this? Does it really work? I'm going to take this little piece right here, then I'm going to take that little piece over there, put these together and see what we can come up with to make sure it's working much better all the way around. And seeing that, okay, we're getting a lot more that way and being able to learn and grow in some very impressive ways to see, okay, this is what we can do. As we break it down into chunks and do chunk learning, then you're going to be able to say, okay, this is how we can really master something. And next, number 5, embrace syntopic learning. Now, this is a term that I kind of came up with, but I think others probably have done it as well. It's something that I learned about that really has helped me enormously in learning and growth. I heard it originally when I took a course called photo reading from Learning Strategies under a guy named Paul Goodman and Pete Bissonnette. They were really brilliant in coming up with this idea of how you can read rapidly. They called it syntopic reading, and I've kind of used the same principle and build on top of that to go into syntopic learning. What it means is you're reading from a variety of different sources. Let's say, for instance, I'll give you an example. A couple years ago, I realized I did not know much at all about the War of 1812. I heard about it. Yeah, it was in 1812 and a few other years too. But I thought, I don't know much about that. So what I did is I went to our online library here in Orange County, Florida, in the Orlando area. And the Orange County Library System has a wonderful resource of all kinds of information. And so I just typed in War of 1812. And I saw there were many different books, many different resources, videos, there was audio, all kinds of material about that, articles, etc. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get several of these. I just went through and got maybe about 5 to 10 of them that I could get. You can only check out so many books. And then one of the things they do here in Orange County, they deliver them to your door. They have a little van service, and it comes and is delivered to your door, which is really, really handy. So I like that. So what I did is I had all these books on the War of 1812, and so I started speed reading through them, actually photo reading through them, not speed reading. That's a different topic, but photo reading, where you go through very rapidly, learning a lot. So I'd take all these books, go through them quickly, and then I started noticing there were some similarities in what they said. One book would mention something that another one did not. Or one might have a particular opinion. When you see often historians, they'll say, this is what could have been done. We think that it might have been better this way. Other historians might disagree with that. And so I was starting to see that. And so what you're doing is in syntopic learning, syntopic reading, you are in your mind really taking it at a high level, pretending that you're interacting with the authors, even arguing with the authors, or agreeing with them, or asking, I wonder why she wrote this, or why did she say that? Why did he make this point about that? Syntopic learning really stretches your brain. And you can find out a little bit about this here. Matter of fact, let me get this set on here. I've got this on here. There's an article that is here. Matter of fact, I'm going to bounce over, and well, in just a moment, I'll bounce over there and let you see it. Syntopic Learning. It talks about what it is and how to do it. Now, this is something that's really, really handy. Matter of fact, I'm going to move me over here. I'm trying to get the name of the author on this, and let's see who that is. And I had that down, and now it's just slipping me. Well, I'll have to look into that in just a moment here. But you see what it is and how to do it. You may think you know how to read, but most people don't. Wait on your grumbling. I'm reading this. Well, true congratulations can be the most basic level of reading. And there's different levels of reading is what she talks about here. Thought it was very good on that. And she talks about several different levels. Sometimes you're just reading real briefly, and sometimes that's what it's called for. You don't want to go in depth. But when you want to go really in depth, you use syntopic learning, syntopic reading. I like that. And here's a summary of it, what she said. I thought this was really good. As a matter of fact, I got myself here twice on the screen so you can see it. Syntopical reading is the most demanding level of all 4 levels of reading. It enables you to force authors to come to terms with your subject, question, argument, or issue. Its benefits are not just academic. Once you know how to deploy syntopical reading, you will know how to assess any issue in any text, not just in books, and be able to construct a narrative out of a field of relatively little effort. In doing so, you grow not just your general knowledge, but also you grow your mind. And I think that is so important there that we can do that. Whoops, I went on to the next one. You gave you a peek of what that is. But I think that's really important to know what that is, how you can use it, and how to make sense of it. I'd encourage you to go over there and take a look at it. Take a look at syntopic reading. Do a search on that, and you'll see a lot more. Matter of fact, I'm going to bounce over here, something I hadn't planned on doing, but I want to look at this, see if I can find what is going on here and who that was. This is Letitia. Oh, I see right here. Hold on a minute. I'm moving some things around on the screen here, and it is Letitia Mooney. Letitia Mooney, who is the one who's the author of that. And so she did a great job on this article. I would encourage you to take a look at what is there, how you can use that, and the possibilities that are there. Lots of good that you can do on that. And it looks like we have a comment here from someone. Let me move over to a different screen here. Just a moment. Move over to this. There we go. And we got a comment, and I want to see what that is. Facebook user, yeah, forever enrolled at the University of YouTube. I'd have to agree with you. Matter of fact, I'm going to high five you across the miles there. I think we should forever be enrolled in that University of YouTube, because that really is where we learn. We grow so much and we gain so much more when we do that. And so I encourage you to do that, and be sure and embrace that syntopic learning. That is something that gives you a real advantage in learning, and part of that is Facebook learning. What you can do is with syntopic learning, you can watch a video on this and watch a video on that, and then watch a video on this, all related to a same topic. Like, for instance, right now, one of the things I'm doing is I'm learning a tool called TubeBuddy. TUBE Buddy. It's a tool that gives you the ability to really master YouTube and find out how to create content. Well, really go in-depth analysis of it, create your thumbnails right, do the research of what people are looking for, things like that. I'm getting into it just now, and the more I see of it, the more I like of it. So what I'm doing is I go over to YouTube and look at many different videos that are out there on what's happening, how people are using it, what's going on with it, and all those different things. They can really help enormously. So let's take a look at number 6 again here. I brought it up before. Learn from Facebook groups. Now, the Facebook group that we have with Dental Nachos is a good example of how to do that. Over 32,000 members on this Facebook group. That's a lot. And there's not only wonderful people who are brilliant, but also people who are giving and helpful. Even as a non-dentist myself, not being a dentist, I don't understand all the terms, but I see the giving and the help and the way people are offering how to help others and what to do. That's really a great way to learn. I'm in several other Facebook groups, depending on what the focus is and the laser beam focus for that group, and I find that I learn a lot by doing that. So make it a point to be very careful. And when you're on Facebook groups, be careful to not do marketing. So too many people try to sell their stuff. Now, I know that many dentists are not going to do that, particularly on these areas here, but I see that happen a lot. What you want to do is make that as a place where you give, where you contribute to the community, you help others, help them to understand, hey, here's what's going on, here's how we all can learn from that. And number seven, hire helpers and heroes. Get people to help you out. By getting others to help you, hiring them, you can do a lot. I'm talking about parting with your capital. Make sure that you are out there and that you're learning from others, working with them. I find that people I work with in different places around the world have helped me enormously. I've got people that help on my website, help on my WordPress that I use, people that help me in many different areas. Make it a part of your budget, a part of your life, to work with those people who are so helpful, to be heroes, and they are helping us in many different ways. So those are the 7 that I promised you. And here's what I'm going to do. You've behaved so well today. I'm going to give you a bonus tip. So number 7.5, a bonus tip of the 1,000 times lesson. It's something from my Japanese judo instructor. I grew up learning judo, and my parents enrolled me in that when I was 12 years old. And it was one of the best things that ever happened to me in life, teaching me not only the defense and physical fitness, but also, more than that, the discipline to work with something that might be a little difficult, might even be painful, literally, might even get some blood. Yeah, we had that. We had blood. We'd often joke we wanted to get our red badge of courage, and we'd get blood, or we'd bust our lip or something, and we'd put it right here in our judo gi, the outfit that we wore, put it on our judo gi, and so it was like a little bit of pride that, ooh, blood, yeah. But you don't have to do that. But the thing I learned from my instructor was when he would show us something, how to do, say, a new throw or a new arm bar or chokehold or something on the mat, whatever it was, he would ask us to do it, ask us to do that many different times. And you think, okay, well, that's good. He would tell us that we must do it 1,000 times until it becomes natural, and then do it another 1,000. And that's the key. You do it that many times till it's natural. Then do it another 1,000. You're building, we now know it's muscle memory. You learn how to do something and you're doing it over and over. I find that as I'm preparing for this Tuesday Talking Tech Tips with Terry Tuesday at 2, sometimes I have to think about how to say that it gives me a lot of ability to go through and I practice what's there. But sometimes it doesn't always work, and that's okay. But you keep practicing and trying over and over and get the help that you need. Remember, number 7, you want to make sure that you have those helpers. Hiring those helpers, have them come in there, help you out on how to do it. I've done that. I've taken courses on it. I've got a community where I tie into. Matter of fact, I got a community I tie into, and a good buddy of mine, Robert Kennedy III, a wonderful guy up in Maryland, fellow professional speaker, was very kind to help me find out a new tool that I would use and how to make that implemented. It was real simple to do it once I knew, but until I knew, then it was a little bit tougher. So practice with that. Have those groups. Whoops, I'm going back to the wrong place here. Over here, and remember the 1,000 times lesson from my instructor, Toyoji Matsumoto-san. He was a 3rd degree black belt from Japan, Tokyo, and he is a wonderful guy. So those are the things that I would encourage you to take a look at as we cover these here. And if you're watching this a little bit later and you want to leave a comment, please do. We'll be going back over these. I like to do that every 24 to 48 hours after we have one of these programs, one of these live streaming, and you get a chance to get help that way. So if you've got other questions about something that we didn't cover, some of you go, gee, I need to know that a little bit better too, by all means, let us know. We'll look forward to hearing from you. And if you'd like to see a particular topic covered, please let us know. We might be able to help you out on that as well. So for the entire Dental Nachos team, for Dr. Paul Goodman, Dr. Nachos, and the rest of us here in the team, thanks for being here today, and we will look